Hi, everyone, and welcome to Practice Growth HQ. Now, today we're going to talk about something that might seem like a small thing, but is actually a really big thing. It's the small things in life that get in the road of your big goal. Have you ever thought about that? I mean, what if you only spent time working on your big goals, but instead, of course, we've got these daily responsibilities, these things you've got to do, and it makes us feel like we don't have enough time, which of course is simply not true. We've got exactly the same number of minutes in a day as Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or whoever you want to mention. So, with that in mind, the perfect guest for this discussion today is Gerald Robison. Now, Gerald's got quite an interesting background as an author, speaker, pastor. He spent decades helping people make the most of their time. And curiously, his focus is not on cramming more into your day, it's on using the time that you've got better. His latest book, which we'll talk about, is called 30 Seconds That Can Change Your Life, shows how tiny moments can lead to big shifts and help you achieve your big goals. All the way from Madison, Alabama. Welcome, Gerald.
Thank you so much. What a delight to be with you and to hear that Aussie accent again. Well, I did used to live there and absolutely loved it. Our best friends are still there.
There we go. Oh, well, that's something we've got in common. All right, Gerald, we like to start with a fast five, kind of quicker questions, quicker answers, so that we can get to know you quickly. Question one, where did you grow up?
All over. I was born in West Virginia, but grew up in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, several places around. We moved about every 3 years, and that's been the story of my life.
How about that? The truth is, there was a 12-year period in my life, Gerald, where I also moved every 3 years, including to the US, including to Fiji and various parts of Australia. So I identify with that somewhat. All right, question two, favorite book besides your own?
Favorite book besides my own, The Spiritual Realm by Michael Heiser. A great, insightful book, but also Rick Warren's book on the effective life, on how to get your focus, whether it's on a church or on your own personal life, how to really accomplish what you want to do with that.
Okay, that's a Rick Warren book. What's the name of that book? Is it The Purposeful Life?
Yes.
I was going to say, I think that sold
Yeah.
tens of millions of copies, that one, if I remember rightly. All right, question three, Gerald. What's one of your superpowers?
Sense of humor. I love lightheartedness. When people are laughing, their defenses are down, and then you can show them truth, and it resonates inside deeper than it would without the humor. So I
Yeah.
really enjoy that.
Yes, I agree. In fact, one of our company values is fun. I'm very much with you on that. Sometimes I'm a bit serious, if I admit, but I certainly enjoy that side of things. Question four, something you wish your 20-year-old self knew.
To be honest, it would be how to walk better with God, to have peace in your life that without Him, you just don't know about.
Well, we certainly all need more peace, I dare say. Question five, something you're grateful for.
Oh, my wife and the closeness that, well, I don't want to sound too religious for your group, but it has played a huge role in my life to give me a sense of peace, a sense of purpose as well.
Okay, all right. Well, look, thank you for that introduction. Now, the show, Gerald, started with this big promise, the small things that get in the way of our big goal. Now, all the listeners to Practice Growth HQ are here because they want to grow their practice faster. And for many of them, that either is their big goal or it's part of their big goal. Maybe getting their practice to grow is a stepping stone to some other thing. Why do these little things get in the road?
Because they are expected and they are your responsibility. Your wife has a list of things for you to do. Your husband has a list of things for you to do. Your boss has a list of things to do. Wherever you are, there's a list of small things that you carry around like in a backpack. They weigh on you. They keep you from excelling in the big areas. You want to spend more time growing your practice. You want to spend more time, more energy, more focus on certain big ideas but it's all these little nagging things that get in the way. And that's when we go home saying, I wish I had more time.
Mm.
What I have learned is you probably don't need more time to use your time better. I call it the 30-second packets of time. To do the little things that you think take longer than they actually do. And that was hard for me to discover, but what an eye-opener it was.
Okay, so your book's called 30 Seconds That Can Change Your Life. That seems like an excellent segue into that. Tell us about these 30-second packets.
I found that one evening my wife and I were watching television and we were sitting through a commercial on TV.
Mm.
And I thought, I don't want this. I
Mm.
don't want to buy it. I don't need it. I don't even want to listen to the commercial. There I sat and I thought, why don't I use this time? Well, there's not enough. And I found out, yes, there is. I bought a stopwatch and timed the things that I would put off doing, only to find that most of them, most of the ones that really plagued me, took 30 seconds or less.
Okay.
Now, of course, yeah, of course, there are those that take more, but then I found some commercials last longer
Oh, they
than
do.
1 minute. And so why not break it up, do two 30-second packets? I discovered sitting here in my office where I am as I speak with you,
Mm.
I'm upstairs in my home, and when the mail is delivered, the post comes, I see them delivered, but I won't give up what I'm doing to go get the mail because it took too long. Then when I got the stopwatch, I timed it to get from my desk down the stairs to the mailbox 30 seconds.
Okay.
That cannot be true. So I did it more than once just to be sure that my stopwatch was correct. And so I began to measure how long does it take to go from my garage to the garden shed? How long does it take to do this job or that job? What can I do in 30 seconds if I'm in my closet or in my kitchen pantry? What
Mm.
can I do in 30 seconds if I'm with my tools in the garage or in my car? When my wife wants to go shopping and she says, I'll be back in a moment, I sit in the car and wait. And I can either listen to the radio and waste my time,
Mm.
or I can attack my list of things I can do in 30 seconds. So, this is the unique thing about the book. At the end of each chapter, I list 30 things that you can do in 30 seconds in any situation, whether it's in your home, in your car, at work, at school, for students as well. And I found that those niggling little things, those small things that plague me and frustrate me, can be done in 30 seconds. That's why I think 30 seconds, if you use it well, it can change your life.
Let me just, I want to test, make sure that I understand your hypothesis. If I understand, it's not to say that you can achieve your big goals in the 30 seconds, but it's that you can get those small things to clear your mind. Is that the idea?
Not only clear your mind, but clear your calendar as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
As long as those things are not done, they are still expected to be done. You're probably still responsible for getting it done. It will still frustrate you because it's not done. And that worries you. That sucks up time and energy from your big goal. You want to free up time for those big goals. And so what I have found is I'm not trying to micromanage anyone's moments. I do want them to learn to manage those micro moments.
Okay. Let me play
Uh,
devil's advocate for a second, Gerald.
okay.
You're sitting in your study, you're doing something productive. Who knows? Maybe you're writing your book. Maybe that's one of your big goals. And you see the mailman, and you said, well, I timed it and it only takes me 30 seconds to go to the mailbox. Like, I think we get the sentiment there, and perhaps that's not the best example, but isn't that sort of interrupting the pattern, the flow, as you're, for example, if you're sitting there writing your book?
I do deal with that in the book. I say don't be stupid. There are things you don't want to get out of order. You do want to prioritize. You want to keep your mind on the main thing, make the main thing.
Mm,
But don't put off doing something because you think it takes too long when it actually doesn't.
yeah.
It could be done, taken off your plate, off your calendar, out of your mind. You have less frustration
Mm,
and less baggage to carry into your big things. Now, I found that we have a strange vocabulary. We use words to describe what we do with time that is not actually true. For instance, in spite of all the time saving devices we have, we talk about this will help me save time. You cannot save time.
mm,
Nobody goes home at the end of the day with
mm.
a bucket full of time because
Uh,
they had it saved up.
it's a
You
pity,
can't
but it's
stop.
true.
Yeah, you can't stop time. You think you can, but you can't. Time is a continual flowing factor of life. It does not stop. The moment that you and I have for the next 3 seconds is gone. It's gone. And you cannot recoup it. You cannot save it. You cannot retrieve it. It's gone. And when you sit through a commercial on TV or sit in your car and do nothing or put off doing something that could be done because you think it took too long, that's a moment or a series of moments, a 30-second package or more that is gone forever. You can never get it back. So what I've discovered is I can redeem my time. I can make it more productive. I can make it more actual, more fruitful, or I can waste it. And so many of us waste the moments that we could have redeemed and used them effectively. And that will get rid of so much of the frustration in life that you think keeps you from doing your big things. The things that you can't do the big things because you don't have enough time to do the little things.
To know how this feels because I get what you're saying. The one of the things I hear about the richest men on the world is clarity and focus. That they could be doing lots and lots of different things, but they've really zeroed in on the things that make the biggest difference. And there's no doubt that most of us under cross-examination would be able to identify for ourselves. I suppose if I thought about it, here's the two or three really big things that I want to get done. But if we could kind of, dare I say, in my mind at the moment, I'm thinking of take you to a farm, like there's certainly no internet unless you need it for your big things. Just basically take you out of your current environment, put you in a house in the country where you can't see the nearest neighbor or whatever. And so you are there to focus on those big rocks. You don't have any of these other things in your mind saying, oh, I must get this done, must get that done. You don't have any of these other things on your calendar saying, must get this done, must get that done. Then the chance for you to work with incredible focus and productivity on your big idea, your big goal, must be quite significant.
I would think so, yes. The opportunity for that focus and clarity is there.
Mm.
Whether you actually do it, that's a different question.
No, that's right. That's true. There's a mentor of mine that encouraged me. I actually did this for a while, and I must admit I probably need to rekindle this, which is one day a month. I would literally hire a hotel, usually a motel room, somewhere an hour away from where I live. And I would go there with a kind of a blank agenda, and it just used the time to allow me to think about things. And often I'd end up going for a walk and so on. It was actually very helpful because it was like you described. I'd sort of cleared the deck mentally, I'd cleared the calendar physically, and it allowed me to focus on these big things. Gerald, you've tantalized us with your comment that in your book, at the end of each chapter, you've got like 30 things that people could do in 30 seconds. I just wondered
Yes.
if you could reel off a list, maybe of some of the ones that are a little bit more surprising, because you talked about getting your stopwatch out.
Well, one section, let me just read a few of the sections and we'll pick one. The 30 things you can do in 30 seconds in your pantry, in your closet, in your kitchen, in your car while you wait, in your living room, in your garage, in your garden shed. In your car is fun because what I
I
like,
was going to say,
I
can
work,
we do
I,
car? I think all of us can identify with sitting there in our car. Can you give us a
yeah,
few other ones for the car?
sure. Well, especially if your wife drove the car last, adjust that seat. Clean the dashboard, check the mirrors, organize the glove box, check your tire pressure, clean the windshield, check your fuel levels, organize those things in your trunk, inspect the lights, organize the console, check the fluids, check the battery, inspect the wipers, check your documents. Do you have all those that the legal people would require? Refresh your air freshener, check the window condition, secure loose items, double check your GPS settings. So there's a lot of things there. You mentioned one aspect a moment ago I'd like to go back to, and that had to do with clearing the air, so to speak. And one of the things that I found that helped me was I thought about a doctor. At my age, I go see a doctor. If it wasn't for doctors, I would have no social life. So when I go to see a doctor and I say, I think I have a heart problem, and he feels my forehead, I'm thinking maybe this is not the right doctor. Or if he wants to check my reflexes in my knee, this is not the right doctor. I have organs in my body, and they're in about the same place the organs in your body are. And if you have a heart problem, he should know where to put the stethoscope
Yeah.
to zero in on the problem. Those organs are organized
Okay.
in your body. So now why not organize your closet? Why not organize what's in your pantry? Put things in an order so that when the time comes, you know immediately where to go, where to put the stethoscope, what to reach for, where it's located. And then in doing that, you want to cut down on the number of factors that you have on your big to-do list. And so I use what I call the Eisenhower matrix. Back during World War II, General Dwight Eisenhower was a great NATO commander for the Allied forces. And after that, he became president. So he had a lot of things on his plate. And he began to divide up life and his responsibilities in four areas. He organized his to do list. He said, number one, there are things I need to do. I need to do them now. Secondly, there are things I need to do, but I can do them later. Thirdly, there are things that need to be done, but somebody else can do it. Learn to delegate. And fourthly, there are some things that do not need to be done by you or under your capability, under your area of responsibility. Learn to say no. And personally, I found that very difficult. I don't like to tell someone no. I feel like I'm letting them down. But his words were very true, and I found some great freedom. That will take a number of the things off of your to-do list by delegating them to someone or to say no. Of those that are remaining for you to do, I can schedule them later. And once you decide that, it's very freeing because now it's not on my immediate list. Now I can focus on what's really important for right now. That helped me a great deal, and that's in the book.
Okay, that's an interesting model. Gerald, I'll admit to you that we have literally for months now been selling our house. The fact is, I do live in the country on a farm. I can't see my closest neighbour, even though I'm a city boy. Um, and because we've been trying to sell the house for months now, it's felt like I've been living in a museum
Yes.
because my lovely wife, God bless her, it's like, hey, we've got an open inspection this weekend. And so that the house gets cleaned to within an inch of its life. I'm not complaining. That's the game you play these days, isn't it? Of course, it's a bit like going on a date. You want to put your best foot forward. And so what's happened is literally thank God the house is now under contract, that we've been living in this kind of museum-like state where everything goes in its place and nothing's left out. Well, here's the curious thing. Having done this for months now, it's actually not bad. Like nothing's left out. And those little 30-second ones are so true. It's like we've got an inspection coming up. It is a series of 30-second tasks. must admit I'm a little bit like you with the ads on TV. I don't really watch live TV now. I will, even if there's a broadcast of something, I'll start watching it, let's call it 15 minutes late on catch up because it allows me to fast forward through all the ads. But I'm working with a trainer and he's got me lifting some weights and stuff. And typically between each set, you get a 90-second break. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what I can get done there. So I'll walk off to another part of the house, and I completely unpacked my suitcase the other day doing this. So I get where you're coming from. And I think there is a lot to be said for the kind of mental space that it creates. And as you say, the space on your calendar as well, which is really good. Gerald, unfortunately, we're running out of time. Just give us maybe one other tidbit from the book, and then we'll let people know where they can get it.
Okay, I would go back to that little series of ideas. You can't save time, you can't buy time, you can't kill time, you can't make time, and you can't slow it down. You can't stop it. What you can do is you can redeem it. You can use it or just consider it wasted. And that will leave one little thing that will frustrate you later because it remains undone. One helpful hint my wife has learned, she will write my to-do list one item at a time on one post-it note, and she sticks it on my bathroom mirror. She said, every time I remind you to do something, you say, quit nagging me. I said, that's true. She said, I'm not nagging you, I'm reminding you. I said, it comes across as nagging. So here's what we do. We put one item or one post-it note, put it where I hate it. I don't want it on my bathroom mirror. And I promise you, I will not take it down until I do it. And you would be surprised how many of those things I delight in taking down,
Yeah,
one after another. And
yeah.
I'll find that moment. I might brush my teeth, see a note, and rush out to do one more thing and get that note off my list.
Yes, interesting. It's funny. It's like we're living with a similar version. And my wife is definitely, she's learnt if it's on a list, I'll do it. I love working through lists. And so if I start the morning and as I say, I think about these house inspections, it's like, what are the 6 things we need to do? I'm like, don't tell me, just can I write it down so I can have the satisfaction of crossing off each one?
Many men are like us. We want to see progress.
Yes, yes.
And that means we are being fruitful, something's happening. And if you leave the list in your head,
Yeah,
you don't see those things crossed off.
100%. Yeah, I don't like it in my head. I like it written down. Well, Gerald, thank you so much for your time. The book is 30 Seconds That Can Change Your Life. If people want to get in touch or want to get a hold of the book, what should they do?
Best place is Amazon.com or
Okay,
BarnesandNoble.com.
fantastic. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Gerald. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome. Thank you for the invitation.
All right, everyone. Well, we've covered some interesting topics there, haven't we? And I wonder what is the thing that's in your mind as a result of this podcast that you thought I need to go and take action on? Because it's not knowledge that's power, it's applied knowledge that's power. So make sure you go and do that now. Finally, if you've got some value from our time together today, then I'd really appreciate if you head to where you're listening to this show, leave us a lovely review to give us the encouragement to bring you more great content every week on Practice Growth HQ.